Hello and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurship 101, a weekly podcast from the Abington Launchbox. I'm Peter Hornberger from the Abington Launchbox, and I'm joined by our producer, as always, Alex Angermeyer. Alex, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Peter. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you for asking. And if you're new to Entrepreneurship 101, welcome. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about things related to entrepreneurship, but not solely entrepreneurship, creativity, innovation, content creation, leadership, all are topics we cover. And the point is, we have guests, we are sharing our topics. The constraint is we only get 101 seconds to just talk about our topics. We have 3 of them each week, and oftentimes our guests might not have controversial points of view, but we definitely see things differently, and the hope is you get to learn a little bit and engage with us each week. And if you're returning for more episodes of Entrepreneurship 101, welcome back. We hope we're doing well. Please leave some feedback as we continue to learn and grow in this podcasting platform. All right, let's do it. 3 topics this week. Alex, you're going to have the first one. What are we doing?
Yeah, so Peter, I want to direct the first topic to you. So what type of personality do successful entrepreneurs have? Are they born with these personality, or do they develop their personality over time, or traits? What's your thoughts on this? You also have 101 seconds to respond.
All right, so let me get my clock started. So let me start with the first part. Can you develop traits that are mapped to successful entrepreneurship over time? I believe so. And even if the traits don't develop, sometimes as you mature, you fall into things that relate to entrepreneurship. There's plenty of people that I've seen and heard talk about how they became an entrepreneur, and sometimes they talk about the fact that they're unemployable. And sometimes that develops over time as they develop independence, as they develop a rate of work that oftentimes just doesn't fit into a traditional job, and therefore entrepreneurship may be one of the only outlets left for them. So sometimes I think that absolutely it develops over time. We are constantly learning, changing, and adjusting. And sometimes we have skills that connect with entrepreneurship, but sometimes then things like our comfort with risk. So for instance, when we had our first son and our only son, risk took on a completely different perspective for me and even for our family. So the skills didn't change, but my priorities changed, and my risk assessment of what things I was willing to do made an adjustment. So I think time is an important factor, skill, experience, and then personality type tends to map with some of these things. So again, your comfort with risk, your willingness to try new things, comfort with ambiguity, where you say, I don't know what the outcome will be, but I'm willing to try it. I think those things help, and those are more static than other life experiences. So I answered that by saying I don't really know. I don't have an answer to it, but I think absolutely things change over time. That was my 110. So I apologize, Alex. Though I'm really interested to hear some of your perspectives on this as someone younger than I, and definitely with some different life experiences. What do you think? Personality types, do they map, and can they develop over time? Back to you for your 101 seconds.
Yeah, so diving into entrepreneurship personality, I feel like there's like a stigma that successful entrepreneurs have to be like extroverts and not introverts. I believe like that's simply not true. One is not better than the other. I came upon research. There are plenty of great entrepreneurs who are introverts, and this doesn't have any impact on your business success. I actually fell into this thinking because I'm sort of an introvert. I always thought you had to be outgoing and you had to be extroverted, but that's just not true. That doesn't, like I said, you depend on your business success and your success as an entrepreneur. So another important trait I would say is passion. I think I mentioned in a previous episode, as an entrepreneur, you need to be resilient and have passion, but you also need to be open to suggestions. What I mean is like there might become a point where you might have to branch out of your idea or pivot, like I mentioned before, and evaluate idea or maybe execute in a different time, because you have to be open to it. And if you're too attached to your idea, it might not go well. I also think another trait would be self-confidence for your personality, because there's going to be a lot of naysayers in entrepreneurship, and they want to shut down your idea, or they're just opposed of it. Um, So this might make you become self-conscious of your idea of who you are as an entrepreneur and may think of quitting. So I just think you need to be flexible with your idea and just be open and evaluate your idea from other perspectives and appreciate constructive criticism.
All right, there you are, right on 101, Alex. You're a professional at this now. We're on. I don't even know what episode we're on to, but we didn't make it to episode 10 yet, but we are continuing along. Time is going quickly. Alex, if people are just tuning in for the first time, how do they find more stuff from us? How do they find out what else we're doing?
Yeah, so I just want to thank you guys for listening. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. We're always looking for guests. So if you think you're a good guest or you know a good candidate, don't forget to contact us at abington.launchbox.psu.edu. Thank you again.
Good. Thanks, Alex. So I'm going to jump into question 2. And I'm going to pose this one to you first, Alex. You'll get 101 seconds to respond to this. But we're talking about students and entrepreneurship, and you're a student interested in entrepreneurship. So are there majors you might suggest that they consider? And maybe does it even matter what major a student takes related to entrepreneurship? So just wanted to get some of your thoughts about students in school, entrepreneurship. Are there majors that they should take? Does their major matter? And how do they kind of fit the things that they're passionate about with the things that they're learning about? So I'm going to turn it over to you for 101 seconds from the student's perspective on being a student and an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I'm actually currently in the Division of Undergraduate Studies program. I switched last spring because I was debating between 2 different majors and 2 different schools, business and IST, or the Information System Technology section. But I'm leaning towards more now after spending a couple semesters majoring in corporate innovation and entrepreneurship. So I think that would be a great major if you're interested in entrepreneurship and innovating the processes within companies. But this could also be a large commitment, I would say, because you're majoring in entrepreneurship. So there is also other options that you could take if you're just interested in the idea of entrepreneurship or you want to make a smaller commitment. There's also the option to take an entrepreneurship minor. Smeal College of Business, I think, offers that. And I think that's a great path if you're interested in a specific major and want to apply or just want to learn more about entrepreneurship. It doesn't actually have to relate to business, the principles of entrepreneurship. It can actually just make you, I believe, a better person or more well-rounded. So I think that would be great if you take a minor. Like I said, it's not a huge commitment. It'll give you like a head start, I would say, on your entrepreneurship journey. Also, the Launchbox Us, it's a great resource if you're a busy student. You have to take a major and a minor, or if you're taking both, I'm saying. We can jumpstart your idea and provide mentorship. So there's a lot of great options. And for me, I'm taking the corporate innovation entrepreneurship route. So, yeah.
Good. Okay. There's the bell, 101, right on it. So I'll give a slightly different perspective. That's the whole purpose of Entrepreneurship 101. Topics aren't controversial, but they may appear to have different perspectives when we look at them. So I'll share my perspective. I am an instructor, so my job is to teach classes. I teach some of the entrepreneurship classes, some of the classes in the entrepreneurship minor as well at Penn State Abington. And I am responsible for the entrepreneurship minor, so I'm the point of contact for the entrepreneurship minor for any student at Penn State Abington. So I get students exploring entrepreneurship at all different levels, whether they're already running a business, planning on starting a business, studying entrepreneurship, or even studying something completely different, corporate communications, criminal justice, business, and looking to amplify their degree with a minor. Entrepreneurship tends to map really well with a lot of things because it's not just about business. So you can use your entrepreneurship energy to launch a new enterprise and to start a business function. But at the heart of entrepreneurship, it is a problem-solving application. So it's all about looking at problems from an empathic perspective. So trying to understand and feel what other people are feeling and developing solutions to those problems. So at Abington and really in Penn State, we have an entrepreneurship and innovation minor, ENTI. The minor is open to all students at all campuses, all majors. So anybody can take this, and we do have students from all kinds of majors taking this as a way to amplify their degree program by showing that they can think critically, they can solve problems, and if need be, they can start their own enterprises as well. So I think majors, take anything that you're passionate about, back to kind of how you started that, Alex. And again, we're going to invite you to like, subscribe, rate, review, anything that you do on these typical podcast platforms. You'll find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and coming soon to some other platforms. We're actually going to be exercising our entrepreneurial muscle a little bit later in this month. We're going to try to do some things on LinkedIn Live and some other platforms as well, including Entre, which is a social media platform. So we're doing that problem-solving experimentation process that we think is really important to entrepreneurship. And we're trying to do it on our own. So again, that's what we ask you to do, is take some time, connect with us at other places, give us feedback. And if you want to join us, come on over, ask to be a guest, and we'll gladly have you on and talk about more things. But here we are, topic 3, last topic of the day. This is how quick it goes. Try for about 20 minutes. We're up to topic number 3. Alex, I'm going to pass this to you first. So, oh, no, actually, you're coming to me first. I'm sorry. Alex gets the last word of the day. I forget these things. Alex, over to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so diving into this last topic here, Peter, I just want to, because I struggle with procrastination a little bit, so I want to know how you deal with procrastination. So yeah.
All right. I deal with it poorly, Alex. I struggle with procrastination a lot, and some of it is due to feelings of anxiety. I don't have an anxiety diagnosis, but I definitely do have feelings that resemble anxious feelings. And what that tends to do in my mind is I play through scenarios before they happen. And that might not be a bad thing. And my guess is in human evolution that helped us to evaluate risk, decide if risk versus reward of going out and hunting, making choices. I'm sure there was some evolutionary reason why we had anxious feelings. But what that tends to do for me, and where it amplifies my procrastination, is I play out these scenarios and I kind of get frozen in an analysis, a paralysis by analysis, right? So I'm overanalyzing, I'm overthinking. And what I found oftentimes that helps me to deal with some of this, Alex, is just do it. And I'll give an example. We were talking a handful of days ago about, wouldn't it be great if we could find some new ways to distribute Entrepreneurship 101 as a podcast. And we thought about things like LinkedIn Live, and there's a part of me that wants to analyze it, test it, practice it, watch videos on it. And what tends to happen is then I get over analyzing and nothing ever happens. So oftentimes what I found to do is just say yes and go do it. And the worst thing that happens is you make a mistake and you learn from that. So my way to deal with procrastination is kind of obvious. I just go do it. And thank you, Alex, for going on the ride with me, because you're part of the way that I get through some of these things is I do it with other people so that I'm not isolated and alone. What are some things that you're doing with procrastination? How are you managing it? How are you dealing with it?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like some of my procrastination stems from like looking for perfection. I feel like anything I do, if it's a project, assignment, or anything related to school or outside of school, I feel like it has to be perfect, or I try to reach perfection. But I came to the realization that whatever I do, it's not going to be perfect. So I have to just do the best, and changing every little aspect to make it perfect, it's just going to lead you down a rabbit hole, I would say, and make you more miserable, and actually maybe lead to more procrastination. So I also try to do like switch gears, I would say, try to do something easy, like an easy assignment, and then do maybe a project, or do just flip flop. I mean, it keeps the rhythm going, keep a balance. So that really helps me deal with procrastination. I also try to take breaks while I work, like sometimes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever I do. If you could take like a 5-minute break, something that's not related to what you're doing, that really works for me, especially with schoolwork or things outside of school. It allows you just to recharge and regain your thinking, just make you stay fresh. Um, I also feel like a little systematic too, I would say. So I need like a checklist. I like to do like a little checklist, so it motivates me to do more. So if I check one off the list, I want to do more. I want to do the whole list. And finally, like you said, just simply doing it. Once I do something, I want to get it done. So that's a great one. But I think it's one of the hardest things, one like the ones to do. But once you get it done or try to take the first step, you want to finish it.
Yeah, I think they say sometimes the first step is always the hardest one,
Hmm.
and I agree. And I think you have great points, great topics. 3 topics already done. That's Entrepreneurship 101 for this week. I'm going to turn it back over to Alex to wrap up. Alex is our producer. He's a student. He's working on business ideas. He's doing all kinds of things. So I appreciate his time and energy, because without him, we probably wouldn't have Entrepreneurship 101. So Alex, I'll let you wrap up for the day.
Yeah, thank you, Peter, and thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like I said before, to our YouTube channel. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all over. Like we said, we're trying different things, LinkedIn Learning, maybe Entra. We'll see. But thank you again for watching. You can also find us at abington.launchbox.psu.edu. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks all. Bye.